Sorry about the little delay here. We was having some technical difficulties, so it's been a little while since I've been doing it. Drayden has been doing the Fun Fridays for me and been doing a great job. So so bear with me today. Drayden knows where all the fish are much better than I do. I actually get lost around this place trying to find fish because we have so many tanks now. So I'm gonna let a few people get on, and then we're gonna start showing you guys some fish. I know we have one of our customers wants to see the Gizzle today, so we're gonna show you the phoenicylus Gizzles. We used the star sapphire as a screenshot on this one because we are back in stock on the star sapphires. Now that doesn't mean that by the time you go to order they'll still be in stock, because we just have limited amounts. So if you want to check the website, and if you do see them out of stock, make sure you get the notification, email notification, when we do put them back up. But it's been the star sapphire has been one that they slowed down breeding for us. It takes us a long time to grow them up to like a 3-inch size or bigger. So just bear with me, and we'll show you those fish off. And if there's any other fish that you want to see, then make sure you let me know. I'm gonna try to keep up with comments as we go. All right, David's asking about the madokas. I'll show you those too, David. They're not up on the website yet. Here's the star sapphires. You can see the males are going to be much more blue than the females, so it's pretty easy to sex them out. You won't see the speckling start on these star sapphires until they get a little bit older. It's more of an age factor for those guys. So usually about 4 inches, you'll start seeing a few specks. Sometimes even at 3 inches, depending on how fast they grew up. So that's the star sapphires that I used in that screenshot. And that one is a full-blown male that's all chipped out. So and I'm gonna go ahead and head over to the Gizzles and show you those guys off. The madokas are right here. We actually should be putting those up really soon, but when we moved them over here, we noticed some flashing, so we ended up putting them in quarantine and treating them, and they're looking a lot better already. So I would say by next week the madokas should also be back up on the website. The Gizzles, I believe Jacob said they were over here, so let me squeeze through here. I've been watching these guys for a Maguna, these jewel spots, these Alana cars, jewel spots. Let's see if the male will come out. He's been hiding. He's right back there behind that structure. There he is right there. I don't know how well he's showing up on screen, but this guy is just smoking hot. Like, almost reminds me of the Mason eye. Alright, so here's the Gizzles right here. Now they're going to go through quite a bit of a color change at this age and up. Mature, they're going to turn almost solid blue. And these guys do get pretty big, so just make sure you got a bigger tank. I've never noticed any like excess aggression with these guys, so they're for a big hap, they're not usually don't turn into the dominant fish in the tank, so that's always a good thing. Like some of the other peacock types like dragon bloods, these guys could turn into a tank boss. Typically the Gizzle are pretty chill, saying that they're saying that they get bigger than a lot of the other haps do. So I've seen these guys get up to 8 inches, and at that size, it's not just the length, it's the girth. They get really, really big and broad. So that gets bigger, in my opinion, than the star sapphire do, from what I see, and the madokas. So those are the Gizzles, star sapphires, and madokas that I just showed. I'm just going to show you these tetras too, the blue ribbon tetras. It's the only tetra that we have over here in this section. Most of it is, Malawis, Mabunas, and peacocks and haps. But these guys are really, really nice. So if you guys have a planted tank, I think these blue ribbon tetras are really nice. And you don't see them a lot. It's not a fish that, you know, unfortunately is not very common in the hobby that should be common. So, all right, I'm gonna try to get some of these comments so I can keep up with you guys. Joe Rudes, hello. Links, hello. David, what's up, David? I know David was the one wanting to see the Gizzles, so I'm glad I got to show those guys off to you right out the gate. And you know, you guys comment if there's other fish that you want to see. I will do my best to go find them for you. Mauricio from Monterrey, Mexico, man, good to hear from you. I'm glad you're on. I'm still going to make it down there one day, so hopefully COVID gets better and we can start traveling again, because I would love to come down there and see you guys and see some of the native fish. Alex Centron is asking about dragon bloods yet, or fancy plecos. I know we got quite a few fancy plecos in, but dragon bloods are still growing up. Like, we've had juveniles, but you know, as far as inventory on that stuff, I am not really the person to ask. You'll probably be better off to email us. You know, if you want a better time frame on when some of that stuff will be available. Also, like I had said earlier, I definitely recommend, you know, doing the out of stock notification. That way you can, as soon as we put them up, you could get a notification, because a lot of these fish, we don't have large quantities of them. There's, you know, a reason that we can't keep them in stock is they are not, you know, really, some of them are not easy to breed, and then it takes a long time to grow them up to maturity. So if you get that email notification, then that's the waiting list. So you'll get the notification, and you know, if it's something that you're really wanting, I would go ahead and fire off, you know, an order, because you know, it's some of the stuff. I think the Star Sapphire is one of them. When we put them up, it was only a few hours later that they were back out of stock again. So that's some nice Masobos. I really like that Mabuna, the white blaze. Some nice hap. He's not showing full color, but they're kind of a timid one, so definitely better with females, and they look a lot better in the tank with females. They show a lot more coloration. So I'm gonna point this out of tank and then try to answer some more questions. We got some Turkish peacocks in here, so I'll just leave it right here. Fish Room Fever, hello everyone. Ahmad's on, no problem, Ahmad. Glad to have you on. I appreciate everything that you do for us. Green Ranger, good morning. Green Ranger says he's trying to get some Melatinia dubile. They've been out of stock a while. Any idea? I think if you put in a request to Drayden, we do have a friend that breeds them. We had brought them in, you know, when they were in stock, but he could reach out to him and see how much longer he's going to be until he gets them back into stock. So also in here with these Turkish, we've got some juvenile Rostratus. The Rostratus do not show color until they get much bigger. So, you know, if people are wanting a nice male Rostratus which looks stunning, I would recommend, you know, getting a pack of, you know, 3-inch or 2-inch even, and just growing them up until you start seeing the male color up. It is not very often that we are able to sell just males on the Rostratus, because it takes them so long to grow up and get color that we usually sell them off, you know, at a juvenile stage. This is the fire blue Protomalus. You can see a couple of the males starting to show some really good color right there. Let's see if this guy will turn sideways for us. Really nice hat though. Really like those guys. This is some of the first ones that we've had available. This is some of the German strains that we brought in. A lot of the strains that we're now breeding are from Germany, and we're going to get better at putting that on the descriptions, where they come from, because I know a lot of people, you they're stuck on, oh, the German strain. That doesn't, that's a good sign that it's a great strain. I do see just as good of strains come from some of the breeders in the U.S. But everybody's stuck on the quality of German fish. So we're going to try to keep that lineage, where people know where they come from, and they do a great job bringing in wild caught fish into Germany and breeding it and selling F1s, and they do a lot of the same things that we're trying to do here, is provide nothing but really high quality fish to the hobby. Turkish, I just showed them off, but the gold nugget plecos, we do not have gold nuggets. Those guys come from Brazil, and we have not brought in any Brazilian fish into this new warehouse. There's a couple, reasons why. We do have a good friend down there that's what he does, is he collects wild caught fish and sells them. But the price of those fish are just outrageous. The price of freight is through the roof. So we're just waiting until flights get a little bit better and maybe freight prices get a little bit better. But we do have plans to bring in a Brazilian order at some point. So just keep a lookout on that. We're putting in more racks, more tanks. So we will be bringing in some of those plecos from Brazil. And the nice thing about Brazil is they've opened up their fish, to more export. So we're seeing fish that have never came out of Brazil before, like new species, pike cichlids that haven't been in the hobby for many years, that are just stunning. So they even had Hypostomus luteus on their list this year, and I've never seen that fish come in before through Brazil. I brought them in years ago through Argentina, but the Brazilian fishermen are now allowed to export that fish. So here we got some Sokolophies in there and some rusty cichlids. That Sokolophi was in there doing a nice little dance for us. Got some Azurius. There's a couple nice males showing really good color. This Chalumbas, Tropheus species. Nice fish. They got that nice distinct black barring on their tail. So let me go back to answer some of these questions. Alright, thanks Alex. He's going to do the notification on the Dragon Bloods. Ali Sean's on. Hello Ali Sean. Hope you're doing good. In fact, I think they've got some of your fish. I believe you had the what fish was it? West African. It was a Stomopedia pindu. Now the ones that I saw in the tank the other day were solid black, but hopefully those, I'm sorry, they were not. Actually, one colored up right there. You can see them right there. It's crazy. Yesterday I'm looking at the tank and they're all like silver, but they just went into the tank, but you can see a couple of them starting to color up nice and black right now. So that's a nice West African cichlid. We got some big Nagara flametails. I don't know if that male's gonna let me get close enough to him before he freaks out. We got some lemon jakes that just came in. A couple males starting to show some good colors on the lemon jakes. But it usually takes them about a week before they really start coloring up inside this warehouse. Just same thing when we ship fish out to our customers. They're not going to be like popping with color out of the bag typically. Sometimes if they have a real gentle ride they will, but it takes them a little while to acclimate to your water and recover from the shipping stress. So same thing with our building here. They go from a pond growing up to a greenhouse, and then they go from a greenhouse to a glass tank, and a lot of times they act like wild caught fish. They just kind of freak out whenever you get near the tank. We got some big blue morai in here. Those guys are looking really nice. See some of the males are getting a nice hump on their head. Alright, I'm going to go back to some more of these questions. Captain Savage Aquatics, good afternoon. We got some Tanganyikans. This is the ventralis. Just going to keep it on here. These are not for sale, but we are currently breeding them in this tank. I think Sarah got some fry from them just last week, so we are starting to get small numbers of these guys, and just a really spectacular Tanganyikan. Nestos is what the heck, my God. Hey. Yeah, Drayden does such a good job with it that I've just been letting him do it on Friday. In fact, he's more on top of inventory and where everything's at than I am. I'm, unfortunately, as our business keeps growing, that my job becomes more and more just making sure that everything operates. There's just so many different moving pieces to the company now that I'm not a big fan of doing office work, but that seems to be where I get stuck at most of the time. So we got some boops right here. You can see that male's colored up really nice. So those guys are awesome. I like the boops. No, I didn't show the Solosii, but I can. They're just on the other side, so as soon as I get done with this row, I'll go over there. They're small, but you can still see the bright yellow, because they're all yellow when they're juveniles. So, but those guys have been really popular at the Solosii. That's a special Mabuna in the hobby. That was one that in the wild was thought to be extinct because of overfishing back in the day, and there wasn't a big colony. So the hobby, who in my opinion is the best conservationist for fish, got together and reintroduced them. I think Larry Johnson from Canada was a part of that. Steve Lundblad from Wet Spot was part of that, and they reintroduced them back into Lake Malawi. And now there's reports of Solosii back in the lake. So that's another reason, to keep, some of these strains pure. And if there is ever a chance to reintroduce some of them back into the wild, then there's, a good chance that as long as the problem in the wild is taken care of, that was, the problem is better, then we can reintroduce these fish back into the wild that, are natural strains. So let me go back over here to the Solosii. They're small right now, but like I said, they sell pretty fast, so we don't ever really get them at 3 inches. So they pretty much get up to this size, and then they move out. The bright yellow ones are the ones that are the Solosii, and the other ones are Mason Reef, and there's also German strain. And the Mason Reef, that's a really nice fish because it doesn't show any color when it's small, and then when it gets big, it just has some beautiful blue and white barring that makes that fish really nice. Canesto is asking about clown loaches. I know that the inventory is getting low. I'm going to walk down here and see if there's any left. But I also know that we are bringing in another shipment of clown loaches. So yeah, I don't see any clown loaches up there that are ready for sale. So we're going to, I think it's not this Monday, but the following Monday, we have another order coming in that's going to have clown loaches. So we should have, after about a week after they come in, we'll start putting clown loaches back up for sale. So again, that's where that back in stock email is really important, because that way, as soon as they come back in, you're going to get an email notification letting you know that they're back in stock. So unfortunately, there's a few people that breed the clown loaches in Florida, but they have not been having very good success breeding them. So the only clown loaches that are available primarily to the hobby are the wild caught ones from Asia. So hopefully as time goes on, we will have more people trying to breed them and have tank raised ones available. This is the Empire gudgeons. This has been a bucket fish for me for a long time, and I'm super excited that we have a group. We're actually growing up a group for breeders, so that's going to be exciting. We also have the peacock gudgeons available, so if you're into rainbow fish and you're looking for something as a bottom feeder that goes with your rainbow fish, these peacock gudgeons and empire gudgeons are both really nice options for you. In fact, let's go over to the rainbow section and look at it. Right now the rainbow section's getting kind of thin. We got a lot of empty tanks, but we are in the process of bringing in some more new strains from Indonesia. But even the ones that we do have in are spectacular right now. The yellow rainbows, the males are just looking really, really nice. You can see the males bright yellow on them. What else do we got? The Fletcher Creek. Those guys, it's going to be hard for me to get close enough to see those guys because they're so fast swimming. The Doherty Eye, those guys are showing good color. Like a lot of this stuff, we just have females and a few juvenile males that aren't really showing much color. On the emerald rainbows, the Bosemani are starting to color up really nice. You can see this is a tank of mostly males right here. But those guys are showing really good color. Susi Creek, you can see a couple of those starting to color up nice. Now this one, I believe it was the front cover of Amazonas magazine, was the Susi Creek, a picture that Hans Evers had taken when we collected them in West Papua, and that fish gets bright orange. You can see the male starting to color up. Now these fish, I wouldn't recommend an all male rainbow tank on these. I would recommend getting a male with some females, because rainbow fish are kind of like peacocks, the African peacocks, Lanacaras, that they really would like a female to show their best colors. Like you could get, some good colors out of these fish without females in the tank, but whenever you do have females in there with them, they just, look unbelievable. So if you want the best coloration, it doesn't matter what fish it is, I would do individual tank with individual species and just have a breeding group of a certain particular type, so same thing on these Susis, just request a male and like a group of females. I always like having more females than males, and you'll have your spectacular looking tank. So alright, here's some threadfin rainbows. We'll see how close I can get to them. Sean, that tilapia ruel, I wish I could get them, but all the tilapia types, like the parrot tilapias and stuff like that, are not restricted in Florida, but anything that has the tilapia genus, it's banned in Florida. So unfortunately, a lot of that stuff we can't bring into Florida, but there is other states that you can bring them into. So I would probably hit up Wet Spot or somebody like that and put in a request. I know they've been bringing in some West African stuff. Got some Millennium Rainbows. Those males are showing up really good colors. Jose Pachillo, probably butchered your last name. Sorry about that. Good morning from the Windy City. From Chicago, Chi-Town. Love you guys. Always receive quality fish. Can you give us a peek at the Tropheus? Yes, I will head over to the Tropheus section right now, and I will show those guys off to you. So our Tropheus, breeding program is still, in the growing stages, but we are going to have more and more Tropheus types available. So let me get some frontosas. This is mostly Tropheus and Tanganyikans in this section. You got the fronts right here. You got the Boise's right here. And those guys are really nice. What we got like 8 different types of, Tropheus that we are breeding. But like I said, it's just a slow process for those guys. Looks like we've got a couple Black Widow frontosas available. It's like 4. Those guys are been really popular. Here's the Kaiser 2 Tropheus. Now, I like the Kaiser even more than the Icola strain of Tropheus, because when they're small, you see just a little bit of yellow. But as they mature, like you can see that one on the left side there, that yellow band is going to get more prominent. So these guys get prettier with age and size, to where the Icolas, they're really colorful when they're small, and then when they get bigger, they lose a lot of that bright coloration, So, I've always was a big fan of, fish that start off not very colorful, and then as they grow, you just see how spectacular they are. Because there's a few fish out there that start off really pretty, and then as they get older, they're just not as colorful. We got some orange bimbos right here. See, these are a little bit bigger. You can see some nice orange banding on some of the bigger ones. And then that looks like that's about it on the Tropheus. The rest of these are like the loopies. We got a few calvus left. We got a few of the multifasciatus, which this is actually a breeding tank for us. So these aren't for sale. Just notice the not for sale sign. We've been having good luck breeding some of the Tropheus in this building. These are cool. This is the banded hyphen headstander. So really cool fish, because a lot of times you'll watch them in their tank and they'll be facing straight down. And that's because in the wild, they're hanging up in the crevice of the rocks and vegetation facing straight down, and that's how they feed. So that's a really cool fish for a community tank of South American fish. I will say that these guys will eat plants in your aquarium unless you have a diet with a lot of vegetables in it. So these guys are more of a herbivore than a carnivore type, even though they can handle a little bit of, omnivore type foods, but they do need a little bit more herbivore diet. And if you do that, from everything that I've read, that they're less likely to eat your plants, So as long as they're getting the nutritional value they need. But really cool fish. I know somebody was asking earlier about some fancy plecos, so I'm going to show you these guys. These are the L97, and this is a pseudacanthus species. So I've never seen them at full grown personally, but I would only assume that they get pretty big, being what family it's from. But they've done really well since we had them. You can see the big white polka dots on them. Really cool fish. There is a few L600s left in this tank. I see one right there swimming up front, and they're probably hiding in these caves. So that's if you're looking for some fancy plecos, please do not put these fish with Africans. That's not recommended by us. You will, could possibly get away with it for a little while. This is the Williams Eye Blue Lips, but they will terrorize plecos in your tank. So, don't put fancy plecos in with Africans, especially Mabunas. They'll just constantly bite at them until they kill them, Red and blue neon tetras. We got some wild Colombian rams. This is the strain that the German blues were created from. And even the wild ones have really nice color. It's just that the German blues have a little bit more blue on them, you know. What else we got here? We got some more plecos down here. This is the mustard spot plecos. So these are some fancy plecos that look really nice. You see those guys? They have like a gold spots all over them. Really cool. Really cool fish. Black orange lithobates. These guys are not for sale. These are some that we're saving for breeders. So, you know, you could get on the waiting list for them, the email list, but right now these guys are not available. This is another fish that we cannot breed enough of. Like, they're just really, really popular in the hobby. Rainbow tetras. Really nice planet tank fish. It looks like there's a couple red and blue neons in there with them. Alright, what else we got? I'm going to read some of these comments. We got some L262 hypensistrius. You can see these guys. This is what they call the fine spot hypensistrius. So those guys are really cool. Now, something you need to know about the hypensistrius type plecos is that they are not algae cleaners. They will not eat algae in your tank. They are carnivores, so they really like bloodworms and meaty type pellets. You know, so don't buy any of the hypensistrius types to keep your tank clean, because they're more of a meat eater. This is the 3-line cory, trilineatus. Those guys are really nice. Corys are, you know, if you've got a planted tank with community fish, you got to get you some corys. They're just really cool. They're great bottom cleaners. So any leftover or uneaten food, they really like. So they do really well in community tanks. Cardinal tetras, those guys are always awesome, man. I'm just happy that they like our water parameters here and they've been doing so well. So another great fish for nano tanks and planet aquariums. I mean, I think this is probably the all-time favorite and most popular, you know, in the hobby. It's hard to beat the bright colors. And what's cool in South America, these are like what could be considered like bait fish to us here in Florida, like our minnows and stuff like that. These guys are very abundant in the wild. So some more corys, some leopard corys. Some these guys schooling around. That's what I like about the corys is when you get them in bigger groups, they're really nice schooling. And they stay together in packs. These skunk corys right here. These guys are just kind of chilling. They got that nice black bar. In fact, I set up my personal tank at the house recently, my 125, and it's a planet tank, and I've got a group of these skunk corys in there, and I really like watching them. So do my kids. They really enjoy them. Ames, Mason, Spirit fish. I'm a little bit behind on questions, so I'm not sure which fish you're talking about when you said David. Well, you said David, do you have those? No Ames, but when I do, it'll be from Mike. Awesome, Ganesto. I appreciate that. Alright, Taiwan reefs. We do have Taiwan reefs. I will go over there and show them to you. We got some wild-caught angels. This is from Colombia. So I really like the wild-caught barring. It's on wild-caught angels, the barring is a lot more distinct than what you see from the domestic line of silver angels, which is, you know, kind of been bred for many, many years. The wild caught has a lot better markings on them. This is one that Drayden was telling me about. I guess you guys might know better than me, but these are some really rare apistos, the Tapachi, right? And I guess these are like $100 each, is what Drayden was telling me. I didn't realize it when he brought them in, just how rare they were. But the good news is that we broke off a few pairs, and Mike Bernard got babies from them this week. So pretty exciting. I don't know how well that I had to zoom in on that male back there, but I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see him. But if you Google the name Apache, you'll see more about them. And so that's one thing that I'm excited at. You know, we are a breeder, you know, primarily a breeder of aquarium fish, exotics. So when we bring in these wild caught, we're looking to find really cool stuff to breed, you know. So you know, so when we saw those apistos come in, we're like, you know what, we got to break off some of those and try to breed them. So pretty cool that Mike already has success breeding them. So hopefully the babies hatch out and everything's good. This is another wild type apistogramma species. This is the sunset. So those guys are really nice, and I don't think those are too expensive neither for wild caught. We got some gold tetras. Got some more of these guys in. Nice. Canesto saying half his fish room came from us. Awesome, man. Canesto's asking about killifish. So no, we don't have a lot of killifish. Every once in a while we will bring in some killifish, but that is one group of fish that in the future we will start bringing in a lot of killies and breeding them. I think the killifish are fascinating fish, and we are definitely going to be getting into killies in the future. We're going to be expanding our hobby also. You know, the good news about us expanding our hobby is that, you know, we are going to breed these fish and get them out to you, you know. So another exotic Pleco is this L90 Ojo Chico. So this is in like the Royal Pleco family, but what's cool about these, and I've never had them before, but they have really long trailers on their tail. I don't know if you can see it behind that guy. I'll see how he reacts to my hand being in his tank. See the trailer on the back of him? Really, really cool fish. And what I like about this family, the Pinaki, is that they're typically not that shy. Like, they might initially be shy, but once they find that they could trust you and that you're not going to harm them, that you're there to take care of them, then you will see them throughout the day. They don't go hide like some of the other types do. So we got some nice Cichlids in stock. Plenty of those guys. We got the false bandit corys in, which I actually like these as much as I do the regular bandit cory. They have more black on them. It goes right up the top fin. So that's the false bandit cory. So that would be a really good fish for some planted aquariums. Canesto's asking, next July there will be a fish show in Louisville, Kentucky, called the Triple Crown. Yes, we will be there for that. That is a good friend of mine, Rusty Wessel, is going to be the one putting that show on, and it's going to be like the ACA convention, American Cichlid Association, along with the Killie convention. There's also another type that's going to be there. I think the live bear convention is also going to be held at the same time. That's going to be like one of the best shows I can already say that because Rusty did the ACA show probably about 6 years ago, and that was the best ACA show that I have ever been to. So Rusty does a great job getting people to volunteer and set up, and he knows how to have a good time. So we will, as long as this COVID is not morphing into other, bad things. I'm hoping that it gets better. I will say that we will be there unless it's this, something crazy. And who knows? Times have been crazy, so I can't guarantee that we'll be there, but I'm going to try my best to make sure we go to that show next year. We had to cancel all our shows this year because of COVID. We just didn't feel safe traveling, even though some of them still had a show. We just felt like it wasn't good for for us and our employees to be in real crowded situations until this COVID gets better. Here's some more royal plecos. This is called the Broken Line L191. It reminds me of the watermelon pleco, just with the markings on his body. But these guys are really cool, and they're great algae and tank cleaners. So this is another nice royal type. I'm gonna dry my hands off. We got quite a few Pygmy corys. Those guys are doing really well. The nice thing about the Pygmy corys is this is about full grown for that fish. So if you got limited tank space, you pretty much can squeeze a dozen of these guys into just about any tank, because they're not going to take up a lot of the growing space in the tank. They're also great tank cleaners, and they're just a really good fish. We have blue phantom plecos. It looks like there's only a few left, and these might actually already be sold and waiting to go out to a customer because there's only a couple left. I see a few right there on the driftwood. Get as big as a lot of the other types do, and they are also a great algae cleaner. So I think the biggest I've ever seen, the blue phantoms, I would say about 8 inches. So they don't get like really big. You can see Elijah over there working. We're going to have this rack up really soon, and we're going to be putting a bunch of more exotic fish in those tanks. In fact, if you guys don't know already, every year we do a big Black Friday sale. So we're going to go ahead and start preparing for that, so you guys could expect, an even bigger and better Black Friday than we had. Every year I try to go above and beyond what I did the year before, but now that we've got the building and we got the space, and we're bringing in all these rare and exotic fish, we're going to try to knock it out of the park this year on Black Friday. So guppies are looking really nice. Yellowtails. Got the blue cobra pairs. So I know some of you hardcore guys are not fans of guppies, but you know what? I bet you most of you guys have started with guppies in the beginning, so it's a great beginner fish, easy to keep, reproduce very easily. So, and they're still very popular in the hobby. So we got some lartail silver angels. Looks like there's one cory angel up there with the plants. I know we've got more cory available. Like where they are down here on the bottom. I really like this strain of cory angel. It's got a lot of red, high contrast coloration on it. And if you feed it color enhanced food that's got the natural color enhancers in it, it won't even be orange, it'll be red. So we don't feed color enhancing food to our fish because we don't want to sell our customers something that is red, and then a month later when it's not getting the color enhanced food, it turns orange, and then they say, oh, your fish is no good because I bought it as red and now it's orange. So we feed them good foods and not color enhancing foods. But I do know that if we fed these guys color enhancing foods, that they would turn a lot brighter red. But even without it being red, I think they look really nice. Got the red rainbows. These guys are looking nice. Nice, you know, fish that doesn't get too big. Let's see what we got here behind us. We got the redfin portuladas. Brian Fowler is asking if we have any mulli. I don't know which fish that is. Maybe you're typing multipunctatus synodontus. If you were, we don't have those available. That's another one that if we get 30 of them, if we put 30 of them up, they're going to be sold out by the end of the day. They just, we can't breed enough of them. But we are working on breeding more of them. We're setting up bigger breeding colonies, so hopefully it won't be long and we'll be back in stock. So this is a nice jewel cichlid. This is the Turkana, and it looks like we got one male and one female left. And you can see that male right there. He is looking really good, and he's wanting to breed with that female right there. He's all fired up. Really beautiful fish. Yeah, Alishan, you know, we really haven't been bringing in a lot of West African fish, but that is something that Drayden and I have been talking about. But again, those ones, anything that has the word tilapia in it, Fish and Wildlife will not let us bring them into Florida. These are the Nicogoensis. See some of those guys are coloring up very nicely. We got some ornate birchers. These guys are a little bit bigger than what we normally have available. Probably already, some of those are pushing, you know, 5-6 inches already. We've got electric blue corys. I mean, crazy how popular these guys still are. Like we move a lot of electric blue corys. Mainly just because of the bright markings. They don't get big, they're peaceful, you know. And when I say peaceful, that's compared to these guys, who's probably one of the most aggressive fish that we have, and that's the Dovi wolf cichlids. We got some green tears. These guys are looking nice. Geophagus sieveni. I'd say this is my favorite geo that we have here at Imperial. I like it even more than the Weinmillerai. Drayden posted up a picture of the males recently, and I mean, they just unbelievable markings on them. Very, very colorful. Now, I don't think these guys are up yet, because when they came in, they were a little bit rough, but they're looking 100 times better. And this is like the biggest corridors I've ever seen. It's the Brochus, multi-triatus, and I mean, that's probably like a 4-inch cory right there, cory cat. So if you got a big tank and you want, you know, some bigger corys that will pop, these guys look really, really nice. I was blown away with how big they are. I've had them before, but they're always like, you know, an inch or two. But these guys came in at like 4 inches. We're like, wow, huge. Right. This is another jewel cichlid that I really like. This is the Moanda jewels. Let's see if I fix the camera. And even at a small size, you can see the males start to turn bright red. And these guys, barely 2 inches, and they're already showing really, really nice markings. All the jewel cichlids are very, very colorful. But I will say that they're all very, very aggressive. Once they start breeding and they pair off, it's on. Everything else in the tank is in danger from a jewel cichlid once they start breeding. This is the Cuban cichlids. A couple of males starting to color up nice in the back there. Let's see if I can show you that guy. This is another one that's a lot like the Dovi. These guys are vicious. right, Maud's telling everybody to get those likes up. That's how we find out if you guys like what we're seeing, is you hit that like button. And we like to see it over 100 likes for our live videos, so that just gives us the motivation to keep doing this every Friday. Oh, Aim Smith Spirit. I don't know what the number was on those snowballs. I think it was L97s, but they should be on the website. I think Drayden got a pretty good picture of those guys. If anything, you might have to play it back. It might be 102. Canesto said 102. There's a lot of, the common name snowball, there's a lot of them that are called snowball. So LDA 33, that's another one that's called the snowball. L97, yeah, Aim got it right. Yeah, L600, you got 114s. There's a lot of different cactus, or I say cactus, pseudocanthus species that look similar. So the L114 and L600 are different. I think it's the 114s that is primarily known as the cactus. Harvey Simpson, what's up, Polk? Nice, glad to have you on, Harvey. TW is asking about blue dolphins. You'll have to play it back once I get done with this video, but I did show everybody the blue morai. So we got some really nice big males. Canesto's saying he's from New York and he sees Polk County on the news a lot. He said, y'all crazy down there. I will have to agree with that. Polk County is, it's got its own reputation. You've probably heard of our sheriff, Grady Judd. He's always in front of the camera and, trying to keep the bad guys in jail. Ali Sean's asking about the newer red tetras, like the cherry red is one of them. I've been drooling over that tetra ever since I seen it. Hudson from Brazil was the first one that I seen that had really good photographs of it. So that's another one that Brazil is starting to allow to be exported. In fact, all those that you just named are now being exported. So whenever we bring in a Brazilian order, we're going to bring in all the really nice tetras that we can, because we're wanting to breed a lot of those in-house because we feel like we can have success breeding them. So we'll be excited whenever we do bring in that Brazilian order. Oh, Ali Sean said Rusty did a presentation for a club last night. Well, whenever you see him, you tell him Mike Roddy said hello. Rusty's a good friend of mine. It's King Cook. Yeah, that's all. What? Yeah. It's King Cooks that just got a shipment of fish from us, and they're gorgeous. Thank you guys. Well, thank you for your support. That's the thing that I love about interacting and being able to sell direct to people, is that back in the day when we just bred fish for the wholesale market, we didn't get that kind of feedback. Like, the only time we got feedback was when like something went wrong, and even if you sent out like the biggest, nicest fish, they would still, just not give you any feedback. So the fact that I can see our fish that we bred and raised here at Imperial and in our customers' tanks, it gives us a lot of satisfaction. So, and I think it's awesome that I can interact with you guys with this social media and be walking around and showing you, because all the fish I'm showing you is the current stock, so, a lot of times people complain about buying fish on the internet and saying, oh, I ordered it at 3-inch and they sent me a 1-inch size, and that very rarely ever happens for us, because we literally measure every fish that we send out, and we have more control over our quality because we actually do breed fish, and most of the people out there selling fish, they're just buying from, imports from, Asia or wherever, and they don't know where the strains come from. They don't know what water parameters they need, what diet they need. And I think with us being breeders, it gives us a really big advantage over everyone else to provide high quality fish to the hobby. So it gives us a lot of satisfaction. So I love the feedback. Yes, Ken Anderson's asking if we are buffering the water in your shell dweller tanks. We are buffering it because the pH here is 7.2. In fact, we've been noticing some drop in pH lately. So out of our water source, so we've been buffering our Tanganyikans with C-Chem buffer, and it makes a big difference on the health of the fish, the quality of the fish. I mean, so I would definitely recommend. I'm sure there's other buffer types out there. We really like the C-Chem products. So yes, we do buffer the Tanganyikans. Nice. Exando said he just got back from the lumber yard to build some more racks. Nice. You can see we have been to the lumber yard many times. So in fact, now when I go to the lumber yard, it hurts more than it ever has before because of the price. But I mean, we've built some beautiful racks in here out of wood. You know, the way we designed it, it keeps the water off the racks, and they should last a lifetime, you know. So let me go through these questions. Nestor said he started off with convicts. That's another great starter fish, just because they're, you know, they don't get very big. They're easy to breed. You know, I almost said peaceful, but they really aren't. Once they start breeding, they get to be little terrors, you know. But yeah, I like all those convict species. In fact, I'd like to get the you know, wild type, you know, convicts that have a lot of color. You know, the luteus is another one that it stays small, bright yellow. Any peacock bass yet? No, but we are bringing in some on that Indonesian order. We lost our breeders last winter, so we had to grow up some more offspring, and our offspring are getting about, you know, I'd say about 10-12 inches. So unfortunately, those guys need really high temps to breed for us, so we probably will not be breeding those again until next spring or summertime. At some point, we're going to have some really big aquariums inside this warehouse to where I can control the temperature better, and I will move some of my peacock bass breeding into this warehouse. But I've got to have some 400-gallon acrylic tanks made, and then I'll start breeding some of those peacock bass indoors. Philip, I started it off with the star sapphires. I was saying when I was talking about them earlier, you might have to play it back to the beginning to see them, but we do have some 3-inch males and females, but I'm pretty sure that they all sold. Like Drayden put some up earlier this week, and I want to say within a few hours they all sold out. But the good news is that we're having good breeding success with them. It's just taking time to grow them up, you know, to size to where we could identify males from females. So but it shouldn't be long, and you know, we should have plenty of those star sapphires available. But I did show off the ones that we have, so you can you know, play the video back when I get done with the live feed. I don't think you can do the playback until I end this video, but the very beginning of the video, I started off at the star sapphire tank. These guys are cool, the self-fin tetras. Trying to get close to where you can see them. Aaron's on. What's up, Aaron? His dad is a fish breeder also. So, yep, we're doing good, man. The last I heard from David, you had moved up to, I think, Jacksonville or somewhere. So, I hope you're doing good, man. It's still as crazy as ever down here, and you know, just trying to keep up with the madness. So we're doing good. Everybody's healthy right now. Robert, I walked briefly by the red spotted severums. I'll go show them to you again real quick. These guys are just starting to get the red spots. Maybe more like a 2-inch size. So you can see them right there. I don't know how well you can see the spots on them, but they're juveniles, you know, so they're not going to be, you know, showing the really bright red with all the big red spots. Alright, Ernesto's asking if we sell any of the monster dovi still out of the pond. No, we haven't, but we are going to. So we just we wanted to make sure that this summer we had plenty of breeding going on, and we'll end up bringing that pond in and grading out some of the bigger dovi. So I would say, you know, at some point we're going to have to put plastic over those ponds this winter, but at some point we're going to be going in those ponds and cleaning them out and setting them back up, and we definitely will have some bigger dovi available at that time. So, but we don't like to have a bunch of like 10 to 12 inch dovi because if you've got 1,000 big dovi up like that, it's hard to sell them all. So usually we're bringing in, you know, the juveniles and leaving the breeders out to breed, and then whenever we get done with the breeding season, we'll bring that pond in, and there will be some bigger ones that grew up during the year that we did not catch. So we will have some more big guys available at some point. Harvey's asking for an update on the golden gar. So yeah, we actually he's doing very well. That's the most important thing, and his babies are doing very well. You know, I didn't really post a lot on social media about the golden gar. I did post on it, and I did show him off on a couple videos, but I'm pretty much waiting until the offspring reach 2 years old, which will be next spring. And then at that point, we breed the juveniles back to the gold gar, and we should get gold babies. So I've got all this footage from when I caught the golden gar in the wild, and it's all like exciting, awesome stuff. But I'm just kind of, you know, if you guys know me, I take videos of every collection trip and fishing trip that I go on, and I'm a terrible video reporter. So I've got collection trips from South America, from West Papua, that I'm still just sitting on all that footage. But the gold gar footage, I'm waiting till we have success and we actually have gold gar babies, and then I'll probably just, you know, take the time, or hopefully my good friend Jared could make it, you know, where you cut the video and get all of that shaky footage out of the way and make a really nice video for everybody to see, you know, from the time that I caught the gold gar to when we bred the gold gar, and bam, now we got gold gar babies, you know. But he's doing very well. So in fact, I was just out there looking at him yesterday. Michael Rose is saying, sorry you lost your peacock bass. I breed peacock bass as well, just need some different species. Well, now that Brazil is opening up their fish list, I'm hoping that some of the like the Shingu, what's the other one? It's the red one. I'm trying to remember what they call the red peacock that comes from there. It might be the Shingu peacock bass. I'm trying to remember. Whatever red and Portuguese is the name of Azul. No, Azul's blue and Portuguese. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I will though in just a minute. But there's a fire red peacock bass that comes from Brazil, and I'm really hoping that bass becomes available and we can bring it in. So I'm hoping we're going to have a lot bigger selection of peacock bass. My problem with breeding peacock bass here in Florida is that in the late spring, summertime, early fall, I could keep them in my greenhouses, I could keep them in my ponds, but once winter gets here in central Florida, it gets too cold in all those buildings, so I have to bring them into a heated building that doesn't get down to like 70 degrees. Like, I've found that if they get down below 70 degrees, they're going to be very, very stressed and more prone for ick and other issues. Ideally, you know, they want to be kept at 80 degrees year round or hotter. But as soon as we get done building all our racks out here, we're going to be building a showroom over here with nothing but big aquariums. And in those big aquariums, I want to have like some nice peacock bass breeding setups. I like to have a nice, you know, big tanks for breeding frontosa. I like to have, you know, just big tanks for breeding big fish. So that is on our list of things to do. But our problem now is I can't breed a lot of different types because I just don't have anywhere to house those big fish for the winter time. Oh, somebody was asking about Taiwan reefs earlier. So you can see some of the males starting to color up. These just came in probably yesterday, I would think. Yep, see the date up there. So they're not going to be showing a lot of color at this time. Once they acclimate, you know, to the new move. But we do have some big Taiwan reefs, but they're not going to be showing much color right now. Like once they stay in here for a week or so and start acclimating to their new tank, they're going to be popping their color like these Eureka Reds are right here. So, all right, I'm gonna try to get through all these questions and then I'm gonna wrap it up. See if there's any other people that had any other questions. Dodger Rebel said he just received 5+ male electric blue Ollie's, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Nice. I love the Ollie's. They're the blue on them, especially if they just came in. They're not even showing full color yet. Chocolate cichlids. I'm pretty sure these should be up on the website. So if you go to our website, now these are juveniles. They're not going to be showing much color, but you know, here's some 2-inch chocolate cichlids that should be on the website. If not, shoot us an email and ask Drayden what the status is on these chocolate cichlids, because we have a tank of them here. I believe these are actually wild caught chocolate. So you can ask him, you know, if these guys are ready for sale or what the status is. I know they look very healthy, so but they might already be up on the website. So check the website. If they are, fire away when you get ready to order. If they're not available on the website, then shoot us an email and ask the guys, you know, what's the status of those. Yeah, he's saying that you can ask the platinum alligator gars $1,500 in some markets. Yeah, and that's for a pretty small one. Like I've actually seen, you know, that's a good deal too. I've seen them up to $2,000-3,000 for like a 12-inch platinum. You know, I'm not sure if they have different grades of platinum, but I really don't know what the price of a gold gar is. I know I was offered, you know, $10,000 for the one that I caught. That I told them that I wasn't interested in selling it because I wanted to breed it. But you know, if I breed them, I don't know that we'll be able to get $10,000 for a gold gar, but I would imagine it's going to be in the thousands for sure. I mean, nobody's ever bred them before, and we're pretty close to having success with it. It's just, you know, I knew when I started it that it was going to be a 2-year project just to get the babies, and then you figure probably another year to grow the babies up and sell them. So right now we're about a 1.5 years into that project, so we're pretty excited that first of all we had success breeding the father, the gold gar. I was hoping that we would get some gold babies right out the gate, but the only way that would have happened is it would have had to be a sibling of the gold gar, like a brother or a sister. And you know, I thought we had some gold babies, you know, there in the beginning. I don't know if I ever posted up pictures, but the problem is that I sorted out the ones that look gold at like 1 inch and moved them into a 75-gallon tank, and then within 2 days over the weekend we come back and they're all eaten except 4 or 5 that are ginormous. Just over the weekend they just ate each other. You know, so they're very carnivorous, the babies are. So this time when we breed them, we're going to individually separate out anything that looks gold. And but yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, Shingu looks like the Orncos. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the red, if you Google red fire peacock bass, you'll get the name of it. In fact, I want to say there's a Brazilian restaurant that has got the same name. I can't remember. Too many things. So, All right, guys, I'm at the very bottom of all the comments. I'm glad, you guys joined me today for the walkthrough. If there was something that you wanted to see that I didn't show you, then next Friday, hopefully we do this again and you guys could jump on and say, hey, I want to see this fish or that fish. Or who knows, maybe we even take you over to the breeding side. I haven't done a video over in the breeding area in a long time, so maybe next Friday, if you guys want us to, maybe we could go over there and show you guys some of the breeding setup. So everybody have a safe weekend. We live in a crazy times. That's why having these fish tanks is our escape from this madness. So thank you guys for enjoying a piece of nature with us, and the fact that we breed them, it makes it even more special. So enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and we appreciate all the support that you guys give us. So we'll talk at you again. Have a good weekend. Thank you.